Well, overseas now, the White House has confirmed 3 unidentified objects shot down over the weekend posed a threat to aircraft in the United States. Our Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen filed this report.
The Biden administration says the US military downed 3 airborne objects over the weekend out of fears they would interfere with commercial airlines, stopping short of confirming that they're more Chinese spy balloons. In a White House briefing, Biden's security spokesperson says the original spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina is much larger than the 3 shot down over the weekend. US and Canadian military personnel have been working to retrieve the wreckage of the objects taken down over Alaska, Canada, and near Lake Michigan.
I want to be clear. The 3 objects taken down this weekend are very different from what we were talking about last week. We knew exactly what that was, a PRC surveillance balloon. And as we have said, we do not assess that the recent objects pose any direct threat to the people on the ground, and we will continue to focus on confirming their nature and purpose.
The 3 objects shot down over the last weekend were smaller, did not have propulsion capabilities or communication devices, according to the White House. CNN is reporting a memo sent to lawmakers describes the balloon shot down over Canada as a small metallic balloon with a tethered payload below it, with the Pentagon confirming it was travelling near sensitive military sites.
We were able to determine that China has a high-altitude balloon program for intelligence collection that's connected to the People's Liberation Army. It was operating during the previous administration, but they did not detect it. We detected it. We tracked it. And we have been carefully studying it to learn as much as we can.
These latest airborne objects were hovering between 20 to 40,000 feet, posing what was deemed to be an unacceptable risk to commercial planes which fly at 30,000 feet.
We know that these PRC surveillance balloons have crossed over dozens of countries on multiple continents around the world, including some of our closest allies and partners. We assessed that at this time, these balloons have provided limited additive capabilities to the PRC's other intelligence platforms used over the United States.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are demanding answers, with pressure mounting on Joe Biden to address the nation over the security concerns. Annalise Nielsen, Sky News, Washington, DC.
And China has pointed a finger back at the United States, accusing it of sending spy balloons into Chinese airspace. Our Asia correspondent Brent O'Halloran joins us live from Taipei. Brent, what are the actual allegations we're hearing from Chinese officials?
Ash, it's a striking allegation without much in the way of proof. According to the Chinese Foreign Ministry, American balloons were spotted flying over Chinese territory 10 times without permission since January 2022. That was in response to the US claims that China is operating a fleet of spy balloons worldwide. A Chinese official essentially responded, "We're not doing that, but you are."
The illegal intrusion of airspace of other countries by US balloons is also commonplace. Just since last year, the US's high-altitude balloons illegally entered Chinese airspace more than 10 times without the approval of the relevant Chinese authorities. The first thing the US side should do is start with a clean slate, undergo some self-reflection instead of smearing and accusing China.
Mr. Weeman didn't provide any specifics. He didn't detail where these balloons allegedly flew. It may have been over the South China Sea or Taiwan, for example, 2 areas China claims as part of its territory that the rest of the world does not. He also says that China acts responsibly and professionally when it deals with such incursions. The US does have a spy balloon program, as detailed in a Politico report last year, but the US National Security Council spokesperson flatly rejected China's accusation that US craft have been operating over China. There were reports in Chinese media that an unidentified flying object was spotted near a port city in the northern Shandong province, and the Financial Times is reporting Chinese balloons were spotted regularly in Taiwanese airspace. Ash.
And so are the US and China actually going to get together and talk about this? Do we know if talks are actually on the agenda?
Yeah, well, according to Reuters, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is considering meeting Chinese diplomat Wang Yi at the Munich Security Conference, which starts this week. His deputy, though, isn't certain that will occur.
As Secretary Blinken has said consistently, and as he has said to Wang Yi, as we have all said, to the PRC. We are open to dialogue when it is in our interest to do so, and we believe the conditions are right.
Mr. Blinken's highly anticipated trip to China was cancelled after that Chinese balloon was spotted in the US more than a week ago. If this meeting goes ahead, it would be the first face-to-face talks between US and Chinese officials since this saga began, Ash.